Hello all, welcome to Sorority and Fraternity Life 101. We'll get started in a minute or so. Please hang tight. Feel free to use the chat option if you do have some early questions, but we'll get started in a little bit. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Hi all, my name is Ed Inunu. I'm the Director of Sorority Fraternity Life. Our preferred pronouns are he, him, his. As the director, I wanted to welcome you all to our info session, Sorority and Fraternity Life 101, in conjunction with Celebrate UCI. We have a esteemed panel of students that are going to be joining us to be able to give you their experiences and their perspectives. We really want to pass the torch to them in a little bit after we kind of give some introductory stuff for today's session. So the history of UCI and sorority fraternity life, with an institution that started in 1965, we are still fairly young to the UC system, but even our office, 1973 is when we got started. With 3 different organizations, we've grown significantly. When we talk about what the mission statement of our organizations and our groups are, it really talks about being able to challenge our members. We really want them to be the best leaders that they possibly can be on campus. And so we want this development of them once they come into campus to be able to be these strong leaders who uphold the values and oaths of their respective organizations. We really pride ourselves on service, being involved, and you'll get a feel for that once you talk to each of our students. I'm going to pass it to our Assistant Director, Marina Mantos.
Hi everyone, my name is Marina Mantos. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the Assistant Director for Sorority and Fraternity Life here at UC Irvine. And I've had the privilege to be here for 5 years and work with this community and see it grow. Some of our demographics we just wanted to highlight is we do have a fairly large first generation population in our community. So if you have never been in Greek life, nobody in your family has gone to college or really knows what it is, don't worry, you are not alone. We are here to help you all navigate that. We have almost 1,000 sorority members between our Multicultural Greek Council, Panhellenic Association, and National Panhellenic Council. And then we have 450, maybe a little bit more fraternity members between our interfraternity council as well as our NPHC and MGC councils. GPAs are really high. We take academic success first. We ask our student leaders and students to just be in leaders first, and then sorority and fraternity members second. So this is what we're seeing. This is from fall. I can tell you for our spring academic information, it's gone up. Like it's still at that really high rigor and level to make sure that our community stays well educated and graduates, which is the goal. As I said earlier, we have a couple of different councils. We have 41 different sorority and fraternity groups. I do want to do a clarification. Sorority is our all women's organizations, and then our fraternities are our all men's organizations. We do have some sororities that were founded in the 1800s that use fraternity in their name, but we classify them under our sorority council. So these are our single gendered organizations. If you are looking for our honor societies or academic-based Greek organizations, they aren't housed under us, but we can help you get to them. The councils that we do have is our interfraternity council, which is our all men's groups. We have our multicultural Greek council, which is comprised of all women's and all men's groups and are culturally based. We have our Panhellenic Association, which is our social sororities, along with one engineering sorority. And then we have our National Panhellenic Council, which is our historically Black Greek lettered organizations on our campus.
And so now for the moment you've all been waiting for, I'm going to introduce our student moderator who's going to kind of run the panel and kind of talk to questions for you all. And so to introduce our panel is going to be Danielle with MGC.
That's me. Thanks, Ed. Thanks, Marina. But good afternoon, everyone. So like Ed said, my name is Danielle, and I'm currently the Multicultural Greek Council President, as well as the President for Delta Lambda Chi. I am a fourth year. I'm an English literature and clinical neuropsychology double major. But yeah, I'll be your moderator for today. And these are some of our panelists, and they're really nice. But we'll start off with Laney.
Hello, everybody. My name is Laney. My preferred pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm affiliated with Alpha Chi Omega, but I'm also currently the Panhellenic president for the Panhellenic Executive Board this year. I joined a while ago in fall 2018, so it's been a hot minute now. And I'm currently majoring in psychological science.
Thanks, Laney. And then we'll go ahead and toss it over to Charles.
Hey everyone, my name is Charles Harris. I graduated last year in 2020. I'm a member of Phi Kappa Psi. My pronouns are he, him, his. I was the IFC president in 2019. Currently, I'm working in the Orange County area for a IT hardware distributor.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to pass it over to Anthony.
What's up, everyone? My name is Anthony, pronouns he, him, his. I'm affiliated with Cairo Omicron or Expo, but I'm also the VP of Scholarship on the MGC Executive Board. I'm a current bio major, second year, and I crossed in spring 2020.
Thank you. Thank you. And then Nadera.
Hi, my name is Nadera Smith. I'm a part of Alpha Kappa Alpha. I'm here on campus and we're part of the Lambda Sigma chapter. I'm a fourth year environmental science and policy major, and I joined 2019, spring 2019.
Thank you. And last but not least, Dylan.
What's up, y'all? My name is Dylan. My pronouns are he, him, his. I the current vice president of Fiji or Phi Gamma Delta. I was previously the vice president of the Fraternity Council with actually with Charlie. I've pledged all the way back in fall 17, and I'm currently a computer engineering major. I'm about to graduate this year.
Thank you. Thank you. But before we begin, we do hope that we shed a little bit more light through our live Q&A session. So please don't hesitate to ask any questions in the chat. Utilize it. But we're gonna go ahead and start it off with Laney. But so what are you studying on campus, and how has your membership helped you pursue your goals?
So currently, I said before, I'm a psychological sciences major. And not only coming into this campus, knowing no one, I moved about 7 hours away from home. I was a little nervous. My major was hard, and I wasn't really looking forward to it. But I was able to meet so many amazing sisters who not only are in my same class, but like same major, everything. I'll purposely take classes with my sisters so we can study in the house and we can kind of encourage each other through these super long tests, especially during midterm season, it can be a little rough. So when you're staying up late, it's nice to kind of have people around you who are not only working on the same thing, but learning the same material. You can quiz each other, just overall giving you that support that you need, even if they're not in the same major or class, just all being down there and all staying up till like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. sometimes, just learning that material. Having those sisters there and really encouraging you is something that has really helped me grow both as a student and as an individual.
Thank you. We also did get a question in the chat. So, Ant, if you don't mind, but how is balancing Greek life along with academics? Like, is it difficult to do?
Yeah, so with that, I think it just comes down to like how you prioritize things and where, like Laney was mentioning, like working with like your brothers or sisters in respective orgs, right? Understanding where you as an individual like may need help sometimes, and so if you have these responsibilities as a member of Greek life, but then you also have responsibilities as a member of student, right? You can rely on others as well to help you take care of these things. And it's just like, for me personally, I like kind of creating like this calendar, like a due date thing to like help me keep track of all these responsibilities so that I can get things done in a timely manner. And it's all about organization, in my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. Dylan, do you have anything to add?
I was about to say, I'm actually a computer engineering major, so I probably will go through the same things you will in the future. But honestly, there's just a lot of people, not only in your specific org, if you end up joining, that will help you, but everyone and other orgs will help you as well. So if there's no like CSE majors in your sorority or fraternity, I'm 100% positive you'll find another sorority or fraternity and someone who will help you out.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Nadera, would you like to share with us what motivated you to explore SFL?
Yeah, so on campus coming in, I was trying to get myself involved. I knew that I wanted to be involved on campus in a lot of organizations. So it really came down to like the first week of school, and I just was looking around, and I guess saw some people that were really kind, and they happened to be a part of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and I just got to know them more. And then went back and I thought about it, and then I ended up seeing them around campus and in the community that I was in, where I was living and everything. And I just joined. But it was really just what stood out to me personally and my personality. I knew that I wanted to be involved, and I knew that the group of people that were, a part of the organization were going to like be really kind and match with my personality. So that's my answer for that.
Thank you. And then Charles, for an IFC perspective.
Yeah, sorry, I missed the Zoom thing. Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Can you share what motivated you to explore joining the sorority and fraternity life?
Yeah, so mine was, and I don't think I mentioned in my intro, so I originally rushed my freshman year, fall of 2016. So I actually knew a few people who were already attending UCI who were a year older. They were both members of a different fraternity. I had like played youth sports with them from San Diego. And they kind of just told me like they knew like the type of person I was. They knew I was a socialite. And so they kind of pointed me in the direction of just like, look at these organizations. And I think if I had gone to like a bigger school, I probably wouldn't have joined a sorority or fraternity. But I think it's just like they were kind of like giving me that knowledge of like, UCI is a little bit calmer of an atmosphere, it's a little bit more of a suburban area around it. So not as much crazy things going on.
Thank you. All right, so moving forward, and how would you describe the process of becoming a member for your council?
Yes. So when I crossed, like I took pride in being a member of like my respective organization, but I knew that there was like a lot more out there than just like my own, right? And so like within the entire SFL community in general. So I just wanted to continue to learn more and expand on those like connections that I could potentially make, not only within MGC, but then the other councils as well. So I figured that being a part of the MGC council and like looking to become like those leaders and taking up those leadership positions in the councils would help me like kind of make those connections and connect with students. And it definitely has. Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. And then from a Panhellenics perspective, Laney, how would you answer that one? How was your process?
I originally was also part of the Panhellenic Executive Board in the year previous. So kind of coming in, same thing as Charles, I joined fall my freshman year. I went to meet the Greeks. I saw everyone and I was like, wow, this is a community that I really want to be a part of. And so I went through the recruitment process, found my home in AKO, and I'm still here to this day. But I knew that there was more that I could do for the entire community and not just my chapter. So getting to work with other girls in different organizations, because Panhellenic is not just limited to your own personal sorority. You meet so many wonderful people in different sororities. My best friends are not even in my own sorority. But being able to work with so many people outside of that really pushed me. And then I joined. I loved it so much, I just had to do it again. So I'm back. But really getting also that support from everyone else on the board, really pushing me to run again a second time and really make it on, has just given me so many wonderful people and this wonderful community. It's not only limited to my own organization, but the entire SFL community as a whole.
Thank you. And we also got a question in the chat of what rush and recruitment might look for fall. So Nadera, would you like to start?
Yeah, so I know for the National Panhellenic council, and for probably other councils as well. Fall quarter will be the time to do that, but I still would recommend making your connections, reaching out to the people that you want to make a connection with, and groups that you feel like you would want to join in the fall, so that maybe you'll have a better thought of like what to do and when the fall comes. But like Ed said when he was answering the question down below, it may be in person, but hybrid, but just be looking out for more details on that.
I know one of our slides later on will cover a little bit more about if we do in person or virtual, what weeks you should be looking out for in terms of whatever council that you are interested in. Thank you. And then for some more questions, Charles, what's your fondest pre-COVID SFL memory?
Probably just hanging out with the guys in my chapter. Like, I think those were probably some of my, I mean, it just sounds super generic and I don't really have like a specific one, but they were just like, being just graduated, I feel like I could already get to have that little bit of hindsight where it's like, the 4 years of college is like really supposed to be some of the best years of your life. And so just having an understanding, and I think I was very conscious of it throughout college, that like, this is the time where I get to enjoy like being young, having new freedom, meeting a bunch of people, being from all different walks of life, and just being able to connect with them on so many different levels.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, we actually have a question in the chat too. In terms of time commitment, when you join Greek life, it does vary, but there is a time commitment just because for each council and each chapter, it is very different. Think of it as like they're individual families and we're all like one big family, but essentially it's different no matter which door you walk in. So you don't know what you're really getting yourself into until you take that chance to talk to them about it. So everybody would have a different answer on what that might look like. And then you just have to see what will fit best for you, whatever you have going on in life. And just, that's the fun of it. So we have a lot of chapters. I think Marina and Ed did mention earlier, we have 41 different organizations on campus. So you have your choices, your options to see which one you think you fit best with. But I'm also very curious to know from Dylan, what's your fondest COVID era SFL memory?
I think honestly, right now I'm living at the fraternity house on campus. So I'm still living with members of my fraternity. And I think that whole experience, just living with like my brothers, has been really awesome and cool, just especially COVID times, because it's not a lot to do during these times, but at least I'm surrounded by a bunch of people I actually legitimately enjoy and want to be around. And they're always down to hang out and stuff like that too. And it's just super cool because, it is an era of loneliness. It is an era of like a lot of like separation from people. But if there's a group of people I can count on, it's the people in my org that I've been supporting throughout the years. And these guys are the same age as me, even younger. And I still I get along with them perfectly. And it's just really fun. So I think just living in the house this year has been really cool.
Thank you. We actually have another question in the chat, and they're asking if you are bounded to a sorority or fraternity once you join, that you must stay for all 4 years. So Laney, would you like to answer this one?
Sure. I can talk from the Panhellenic perspective for this. Each of our organizations has a new member period. So that's going to be the entire quarter that you join. Once you're initiated, that's when you're no longer allowed to join another single member organization. However, if you're within your new member period, you feel this isn't right for you, it's okay. This is not something that you're bonded for. If it's not something you feel is right for you, this is something that we want you to enjoy being in. So if this is something that you feel is right, it's not a requirement for all 4 years. It's okay. We do have processes where you can go through and disaffiliate. It just kind of depends on what you're feeling. That's why we do have those new member recorders to kind of give you a gauge of what's happening in our organization, how well you fit in, and that way you have this entire quarter to kind of think about it and just really enjoy and get to know people in your organization and make sure that this is really the right place for you.
Thank you. I know somebody else also asked like how they might be getting information about Rush. And after all of like the Q&A session, we will be going forward, like showing all of our council social medias and everything. So please don't hesitate. Please follow us. You can find information there as well as the SFL website. And then if there is like a chapter specifically that you are interested in, it'll also be on the SFL website where you have links to see either our websites or our social media accounts. And then from there, those chapters will be posting more about Rush and what it might look like for their individual chapter. But I know Dylan has his hand up.
Just a quick tip. I think also along with all the emails and the information on the website, a really good way of, like Danielle said, was checking the social media. So, you know, search around, look at all the different fraternities and kind of like search and see like, okay, like, oh, this fraternity is doing Rush events week 1 during this time. So like prepare yourself or whatever. But I would say social media is usually the easiest way to connect with them, especially too, if you have questions. I know it sounds scary when I say this, but like, it's okay to DM them and ask questions. Like they want your questions. So I think that's just the easiest way, but I think Danielle said all the other ways as well.
Slide into those DMs, man. It's okay. But going forward, just really quickly. So I know that some people wonder if we have any prior knowledge to the SFL, like life coming into UCI. But at least I know for myself and probably for many others, you don't really come into college knowing too much of the reality of what sorority and fraternity life is like. We only get to see like exaggerated forms of it in movies. And like, you know, you do hear sometimes like stories about it and it can be quite intimidating. And at least that's how I felt when I came into UCI. But I think even Laney said earlier, like sometimes you walk around, and I know Nadera also said it, you meet a group of people and you end up loving them, and they just happen to also be a part of a sorority or fraternity, and then you bond with them, and it really is just a whole change of life. But I definitely don't think you need to know too much about sorority and fraternity life before going into it. And then Nadira has her hand up.
I wanted to add something. I think that maybe looking around, if you see outside of school, if you see anybody that you think you may know from the organization that you may want to join, I feel like that's another place too. It may not always be on campus, and that's how it was for me, definitely. I feel like I saw people in the community and I saw people outside of college as well. But then when I came to UCI and then walking around, like you said, I saw people. So just wanted to add on to that.
Thank you. And then I know we also had a question in the chat, but and if you were assigned a lot of homework or you need to study, oh, just kidding. I think you actually already answered in the chat, but essentially the question was, if you were assigned a lot of homework or need to study, can you be excused from a chapter event? And essentially what everybody universally agreed on is that communication is key. And it really does depend on what sorority or fraternity that you are going to be interacting with. So just let them know and say, hey, I'm having a difficult time, whether it's with homework or personal life, and it'll definitely help. But again, going back to Ant though, what's one thing you'd like to tell yourself going back to your days as a potential new member and a UCI Anteater?
Okay, so I would say that like one of my favorite quotes that's like always stuck with me is that like if you fail to prepare, then you're preparing to fail. So like I'd rather put like 100% effort into something and then potentially fall short, and then rather than just like not put enough effort and then still expect good results in that sense, right? So the advice I would give myself is that, you know, you would come into every situation, every like obstacle or maybe every challenge, and just, you know, give your best foot forward, give your best effort, and like that's really all you can do, you know. And then don't really dwell. If you do fall short, don't dwell on it, you know, just move forward, move past it. You'll always have another opportunity next time.
Thank you. And then also from an IFC perspective, Charles, what's one thing you go back to tell yourself as well? You're a potential new member in the UCI Anteater.
Oh geez. But no, I think what I would probably tell myself is just like not take things as seriously, and like not as like don't like take things seriously, but I think there are probably people in this call who knew that there were times where I just kind of went a little bit over the top in what I was trying to do or accomplish. But all that stuff, I think like the greater thing that I think about is like I actually really enjoy the way the last 4 years panned out for me, like positives and negatives, because I think it's all just a part of, journey through your young adult life and lessons you learn along the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I know that for one of the things that as a panel that we worked on was like, what's one piece of advice that we could give those who are incoming students? And collaboratively, we all kind of agreed that the best advice that we could give is just to try new things. So everyone's going to have an opinion on like what you should and shouldn't do, but sometimes you got to find things out by yourself and just try it. And that's basically what college is for. So you use this time to learn about yourself and you build those connections and you find a family, like a home away from home. And even if like sorority and fraternity life isn't for you, there's so much that UCI has to offer. And there's other like organizations, campus groups that you can be involved with that might fit you better or your personality. So you just have to kind of just trust yourself. And even if you hit a bump in the road, like everything's just gonna work itself out. So you have 4 years like here at UCI. So, things don't have to be perfect right away, but that's essentially what we kind of gathered for you in terms of like, it's a long piece of advice, but I hope one part of it at least sticks with you. But we are gonna go ahead just for sake of time. I think the social media accounts, if I'm corrected. Thank you. So in terms of each council, we do have different recruitment dates. We again don't know if it's going to be in person or virtual. We're still waiting to see how things play out in terms of COVID. But for IFC, formal recruitment is during weeks 0 to 1. And then for MGC, our info sessions are weeks 0 to 2. And for the National Pan-Hellenic Council, Nadera, do you have a little bit more on that actually?
Yeah, so we will be starting fall. So around the same times, week 0, week 1. Yeah.
Thank you. And then for the Pan-Hellenic Association, the primary recruitment is week 0. And I know that we had a question if you rush a sorority in the spring or fall, but it really does depend on what organization and what chapter you're going for. So it does vary. So some orgs might only be rushing in fall and winter, or maybe fall and spring. It just kind of depends. So that's why it's really important if you are interested to follow just SFL life in general, and then find the councils and then find what chapter kind of gravitates towards you. Oh yeah. And then for social media accounts, these are for each council individually. So please go ahead and give them all a follow. Even if, you're interested in a sorority, but you just kind of want to see what the fraternity life is up to, give them a follow. Maybe your friends might be interested and then you can shoot them their Instagram. That's all I'm saying. But please follow us, slide into our DMs. And then also you can scan the QR code to the left. Sorry, that was a little challenging. And then also you can visit our website if you have any questions. You can email sorority and fraternity life, and that'll be at sororityfraternity@uci.edu. So we can answer your questions right away. You could also follow the Instagram and the Facebook. And again, on any of these, you can ask questions, ask away, feel free. But essentially, yeah, that's all we really got for you guys in terms of that. But thank you, everybody, for coming. And then also thank you to all the panelists because they're great. They had great questions. They had great answers. And thank you guys. Yeah. Ed and Marina saved me.
No, again, thank you to our panelists for joining us as well as our attendees. A lot of great information to be found at our website, sororityfraternity.uci.edu. Please look to contact us if you do have any questions at all. That's the best place to get some of that resources. Marina's just posted that into the chat. But we do appreciate y'all being on and joining us, and enjoy the rest of Celebrate UCI.